Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Here I am in episode 5 of the Eternal Weekend Reanimator iteration process series. This is the last one. Even if I continue to iterate on Reanimator, I think subjecting you to it 5 times in 5 or 6 weeks is too much for my normal programming. I hope those of you who enjoy watching the little things shift in a deck enjoyed what I've done here. And for those of you who didn't, different decks are coming, I promise. Where I last left off on this iteration process was I found myself basically in a lot of trouble to Bowmaster after sideboard, and I was beating the top decks. Like I was beating Dimir Post and Is It Delver and various Show and Tell and Doomsday decks. Like I was okay in all of those spots, but I was losing to random BS, which the random BS is what you're supposed to just dunk on with a Reanimator plan in game 1. And I found that if somebody just had like 3 Swords to Plowshares and could get through the Atraxa, or a random Karakas, or a main deck Nile Spellbomb that popped out of an Urza Saga, these are things that I just couldn't really answer game 1. What I've done to try to address these things is, after talking to Pokemoki, he suggested Roiling Dragonstorm, which is a card I've been aware of all along. I just figured if it's sorcery speed, it should be Careful Study, and if it's costs 2 mana, it should be Tainted Indulgence. But the fact that Roiling Dragonstorm actually does get picked up by Murktide Regent, a card that we played 2 of, that is a card advantage engine in the mid and late game that can kick in sometimes. That can help in the random Nile Spellbomb games, the game 1s. This gives me something to actually do. And then, as always, the best answer to Bowmaster is Bowmaster. I've got 2 of these in my sideboard now. I cut the beloved one of Baleful Strix. Sad to see it go, but I think it's right. And I cut the 3rd Force of Negation from the sideboard. I think with 6 Forces and 4 Thoughtseizes in the main, I would like a 7th Force against Mystic Forge, against Show and Tell, against those sort of things, but you got to put cards somewhere, and I think I need more help versus fair Bowmaster decks than I do against the combo decks. Another card Pokemoki and I talked about was Meringue River Regent, which it's a really awkward 4 mana draw 3 discard one is its spell mode, and then the 6 mana dragon mode is a 6/7. Is this still gonna be a meme in January when I release this video? Are people still saying 6/7? I don't know, but that is a 6/7. It bounces 2 things. It triggers Dragonstorm. It's a phenomenal put in off of Show and Tell because you just bounce their Omniscience and you win on the spot. But I'd have to cut an Atraxa to make room for that, and Meringue River Regent is not as good as Atraxa. Full stop. End of sentence. Another really cool thing that Pokemoki pointed out about Roiling Dragonstorm is that it's an enchantment for Atraxa, which might sound like win more, because once Atraxa is in play, you should already be winning. And what do you need to loop Dragonstorm for at that point? But the real thing is that it's a blue enchantment. And generally, when you get Atraxa into play, all you're looking for out of that Atraxa pile is Force Blue card. And having a whole extra pair of blue cards in an enchantment, or in a card type that previously only occupied black cards, that's actually materially relevant once Atraxa's in play. And that also helps put Atraxa in play because it's a loop. This is where I am with this right now. I will tell you right now at the spot where I am in life, which is less than a week before Eternal Weekend. Actually, I think it might start in exactly a week from when I'm recording this, but I'm traveling for 4 of these 7 days, so it's really like I have 3 days left to figure this out. I might do all this work, play all these leagues, iterating on Reanimator, and just come to the conclusion that I'd be better off playing Is It Delver or Dimir Post. The quest to find the best Reanimator list doesn't mean that once we get there, it is the best deck. Like, if we do all this work and determine this is just worse than casting Dragon's Rage Channeler, I will go the other way. I'm not married to this, but this is the testing and tuning process. I don't think I've ever played the same deck 5 times on the channel before, certainly not in this condensed period. And it may all be for naught, but at least understanding how the format moves and what Reanimator is good or bad at is important to understand moving forward. Here it is, the final video you're going to get about Dimir Reanimator, hopefully for a long time. Let's go play these matches. I'm on the play in round 1 with a hand that is almost there. I'm an island away. I think if this was a fetch land or an Underground Sea, Probably not Underground Sea. Definitely a fetch land. I would keep this. I got a mulligan as it stands, though. Like, this is loot, reanimate, force backup, and the monster's here, but if I just miss my land drop, it's over. Definitely missing a land drop with that hand. This is the same hand. Come on, deck, you piece of shit. All right, we're going to 4. Jesus. All right, well, I'll keep this and put Archon of Cruelty, Verdant Catacombs, and Underground Sea on the bottom. That was a disaster. Should have kept the first one. No, you shouldn't. That's a thing. Like, people think that because variance cuts a certain way, they should have made a bad decision. And if I could see the future, I would have kept that first hand. But that's different than saying you should have kept that first hand. Okay, I'm gonna get the other sewer right now. I'm looking for a reanimate. Underground Sea. No thanks. Force of Negation. Casting Brainstorm. I have the second sewer straight up here. Uh-oh. If opponent smells weakness and goes for the daze here, I don't love that. Oh, Swamp. Dark Ritual. What is this doing? Are we jamming out a Bowmaster? Fascinating. Okay. Well, I can beat this with Atraxa if this converts. Like, I could take a bunch of damage and then get Atraxa. Okay. So we're in. I'm going to go reanimate Atraxa on top of the deck. Reanimate and Atraxa. I take some beats. I have Force Blue card to survive the turn. It's Sewer, dumps, Atraxa into the bin. And I take 5 in combat. I'm at 10. I have exactly enough life to Thoughtseize plus reanimate. But if they don't show me blue mana, or if they wasteland me, then I just have to reanimate and hope it works. I'm at 10. I don't think I can actually Thoughtseize here. I'm off it. Reanimate Atraxa. Like, I would just die to the next Bowmaster. That doesn't work for me. We've got Murktide Regent is a creature. Tamiyo is a creature I can play right now if I want a blocker. Tamiyo is also blue. But Tamiyo, Ponder, land. Pretty weak all around, actually. But I will add this blocker. I still have a Force Up. It's not the one I would have liked to see off the Atraxa. Like, I probably just lose to Bitter Triumph or Go for the Throat here. But if they don't have those things, I'm in business. Okay, we got to their turn. Ancient Tomb. All right, we're just black stomping here. Oh god, I have to read a card. Sacrifice another creature or artifact. Araya deals X damage target opponent or battle, and you gain X life or X is sacrifice per mana value, and then it flips for 5 and a Phyrexian. On the back, it is a 4/4. Beginning of combat in your turn, return up to 1 target artifact or creature from your graveyard to the battlefield, gains haste, exile it. Okay, this doesn't have haste itself. I think I just have to let it ride and hope Atraxa can do bullshit Atraxa stuff. All right, game on, I guess. All right, the sacrifice permanent's mana value. I am still not going to attack with Tamiyo because I'm not going to be out here cracking clues. You can't make me do it. I am going to Thoughtseize now that I have 10 life, though. Thoughtseize you. Fuck. All right. Well, that's a bunch of lands. It took 2 damage for no reason. Lake of the Dead. I have played against a Demigod of Revenge deck recently, and it might be this person. I recognize their username. Pluto Delta is not the land that I knew about. Big Rips. Roiling Dragonstorm. I'm just trying to deal damage. Can't really afford... Well, I can afford to cantrip, actually. I can't afford for Orc Army to become 7/7. That's the point where it becomes untenable for me. I expect a Surveil land here. So Araya can tap to sack a thing, and then flip, and then at the beginning of combat trigger to return the thing. It returns artifacts or creatures, so that doesn't matter. Do they want to like deal 2 to me in the end step? Try to race? Orc Army doesn't have a mana value. They could just shoot me for 2 with Bowmaster if they think there's a race to be had here, but that unlocks the Tainted Indulgences in my hand. All right. I'm at 13, but my hand's on now. Well, there it is. That's what I was saying in the deck tech of Reanimator's supposed to dumpster random bullshit game 1, and I did just Multifor and got sniped by a turn 2 Bowmaster and still won the game cleanly because I have this bullshit button. I am into that. Okay. Barragoyf, important here. The only reason I have any idea what my opponent's doing is because I've played against them recently, and they have Demigod of Revenge. There's no graveyard hate in the list. There hasn't been in any iteration of it, and that's something that is occasionally annoying. Most of the graveyard stuff you can beat up with your forces and brainstorms, and then just try to beat them with your more powerful stuff. But sometimes you really would just like a Surgical Extraction or a Dauthi Voidwalker. And now deciding how jukey I want to get here, the answer is not very, because I still have to beat a potential 5/5 haste with flying. I could do my partial juke here, where one Animate, one Archon come out, and I still have my Atraxas. That's the good one. How much do I want to respect Bowmaster out of their deck? And I currently have Bitter Triumph only as a removal spell. And Barragoyf could just outmuscle Bowmaster or Demigod. Yeah, I'm actually going to try just Barragoyf's in, do the minimum. The Brazen Borrower is close. But what would I cut? Yeah, I'm good. This is like enough respect. Give myself a second plan in case they Dark Ritual out a Dauthi Voidwalker on turn 1. But I otherwise still have my jam intact. Very fair hand that I've got here. If they Dark Ritual out some shit on turn 1, I could be in trouble. But I do like having Thoughtseize in my hand versus this clunky combo deck. Down a Multi 6, basic Swamp. Alright, I'm probably not going to have Thoughtseize in my hand. And Thoughtseize and Brainstorm are the only cards you could take here because I have 3 Ponders. Okay, Brainstorm. That's scary that they're more worried about that. Like, if I Thoughtseize them and their hand is just Demigod of Revenge, how bad is that for me? I'm still going to Thoughtseize them, though. You can't stop me. They're a stompy deck with combo type pivots. These are exactly the type of decks you want to Thoughtseize on turn 1. Maybe their hand is just like 2 Bowmasters, where I can take one and then they just pile on the damage for my Ponders. I drew Reanimate. That means taking a Demigod or Bowmaster from them now has different text. Okay, so their hand was a bunch of the same shit. I think I want to take Liliana. And that's the card that... No, maybe it's Bitter Triumph. Problem is they can pay 3 life just fine, and the second Liliana in hand doesn't do much. Alright, yeah, I'll take the Bitter Triumph. Alright, they've got 2 Lilianas, not the mana to cast them, and I have the ability to sculpt pretty well here. Urborg also means I can fetch basic Island here and have perfect mana still. Alright, did you draw Orcish Bowmaster? Ponder. You did not. Alright, I'll take a pair of Barragoyfs. Or do I want 1 Barragoyf and to continue pondering? And I know, or they could probably kill the first one. I don't know they could kill anything, but I could reanimate it. Alright, ended up with all the same options anyway. Alright, I'll put the second Barragoyf in my hand with Bitter Triumph above it. If they miss their land drop, I'm just good here. Thoughtseize, alright. This probably takes Reanimate, I would guess, because otherwise I just get Barragoyf for 1 mana. Okay, Ancient Tomb. So they could have played Liliana here and did that instead. Interesting. A Ponder. Tainted Indulgence, Murktide. Wasteland. Okay. New plan. I'm going to put Murktide on top of the deck, draw Wasteland, waste this Ancient Tomb, and then reanimate my Barragoyf. Alright, here we go. Game on. Their hand is 2 Lilianas. They have to draw mana to even be playing the game. And even if they do, then we start pushing through with the parade of creatures. I do think going after Ancient Tomb, which is worth 2 mana, is worth more than hitting the Urborg, which could... I mean, either one makes it so Liliana's uncastable, but let's make the whole deck uncastable. Alright. It's party time. There's a Tainted Indulgence on top of my deck. Do I want to fetch first? I think I do. I'll give myself a better chance to hit a creature. Goyf mills 3. Missed, but did put an enchantment in the graveyard. And now the second Goyf joins, which means Liliana is too far behind. They need some sort of wrath effect or to combo me out somehow for me to be worried about them at this point. Do I think I can hit a monster on a mill 8? I think there's a good chance. Oh, Bowmaster. Sneaky, sneaky. I think I'm going to Bitter Triumph a Bowmaster with pay 3 life as an additional cost. Let me get at least one of these in. I would really like to mill over a banger. You take 5, I mill 5. Archon. I'm going to politely decline that one and then cast Reanimate. Pachow! One unknown card in hand. Would have to be Surgical to continue playing. All right, nice. Cool. The Malta 4 dumpster game 1 into the Baragoy sideboard playing game 2. Looks good, feels good. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep this hand. I get to Thoughtseize you, and then potentially Thoughtseize me. I have Force backup, I've got a loot. This hand's highly interactive, without a straight line to the combo, but I do have a bunch of movement to get there. Opponent's on 6. I love Thoughtseizing opponents who've already mulliganed. Let's see what they got. Oh, it's this shit. We got an asshole in the chat. I love being mean to oops players. Okay, let's figure out how to collapse this. If I take the Informer and they rip. Oh, this is 1, 2, 3. This is actually only 3 mana here. All right, I'm going to take Informer. And then if there's an emergency, I could force a negation the Pact. But I could Thoughtseize them again next turn. There's Agadeem as a land. All right, another blue card. I'm going to play Undercity Sewer. And I'm quite happy with this Brainstorm. I'm going to Thoughtseize them again. All right. Boggart Trawler is steady mana for the rest of the game. 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 mana anyway. This Pact will be annoying to me at some point. I think I'm going to take the Trawler. I am hoping for their fail rate here. Like they just don't hit one of the 7 cards in their deck that matters. But if they do, I lose. Despite double Thoughtseizing them. Because I have... Well, it's not because I have the wrong force. If I had Force of Will and not Force of Negation, I would have taken the Pact. All right, they drew Agadeem. All right, so that Thoughtseize was a complete miss. I think I would like to Tainted Indulgence rather than Brainstorm, because if I hit land Reanimate here, we're just good. All right, I'll discard Atraxa and then pass the turn. Yeah, this game is kind of stinky, because it's just like, do they draw their 7 out or not? I don't think they have any decisions to make, no manipulation, nothing, and it's just like, can my cantrips navigate this hand before they do what they're supposed to do? Okay, they've passed back to me. Okay, I think I want to flip Tamiyo here. That just gets me Thoughtseize back immediately. I'm still in good shape if I hit Reanimate or Force of Will. Thoughtseize. All right, I'll take another Thoughtseize. Bitter Triumph and Underground Sea can go away. Plus Tamiyo again. Thoughtseize you again. I do have to be careful that I don't Thoughtseize myself out of Reanimate range. All right, this is all the same shit. I guess I take one of the packs, start working through it. I actually hate this game. I don't think I'm winning it. Lotus Petal. That has to be okay. They could play an Elvish Spirit Guide here, which I'm okay with. I'll just put Murktide in front of it. Can I just draw Reanimate, please? Can we be done? Can we stop? All right, Ponder gets a look. Brainstorm and Archon of Cruelty. These are not the cards I want. Brainstorm is a bunch more looks, except not even really. All right, I'm going to shuffle. Found an Underground Sea. Now I could Thoughtseize my opponent and play Murktide. That still loses to a top deck creature, but at least I'm doing anything. I could also get back Ponder and try to hit the Reanimate. I think I'm doing that. All right, we did it. Don't shuffle, get back Atraxa. Atraxa does have to hit a Force of Will here still, and it didn't. We've got Reanimate, Brainstorm, Dragonstorm, Tamiyo, Underground Sea. I guess I actually want a delta, not a C, because I'm holding Brainstorm. Okay, I have to discard one to hand size. I'll discard Atraxa. Okay, this is it. I could still lose this turn, despite everything that I've done this game. Thoughtseize them 3 times, Cantrip 4 times, Resolve Atraxa. They could still, if they draw their payoff guy, still win this. Okay, they've passed the turn. Now I feel good. I get to see so many cards this turn. There's Force of Will. Sweet, sweet relief. All right, Atraxa get in. Starting to actually push damage now. Plus Tamiyo. I could reanimate the other Atraxa for a bigger reload. I could also reanimate their Undercity Informer and target them with it, and then try to bet against their pile on their upkeep. That would give me Force of Will and Force of Negation to fight the Memory's Journey. I could also just play Murktide Regent, put lethal on board. That sounds way smarter. Okay, I am going to Brainstorm. There's another Thoughtseize in the deck, and I did find it. Okay, Thoughtseize and Reanimate can go away. Do I need all these Tamiyos? It's fine, it doesn't matter. Okay, Thoughtseize you. Again. Now I'll take Pact of Negation again, and play Murktide Regent. That game was much more stressful than it needed to be, and I'll pass the turn. I have exactly lethal in play. I actually have one more than lethal, because Tamiyo can target a spell and make Murktide bigger. Summoner's Pact resolves. Okay. They were just seeing if I was going to do anything. I wasn't. All right. Format Knowledge held up in game 1. Good thing I was on the play. Consigned Memories come in. I don't have a lot for this, because I packed my main deck with the interaction. I think I do still want my combo jam, and that's how I beat them. Bitter Triumph doesn't need to be in the deck. Brazen Borrower has some outs where it's like, if they do a pass, like Resolve Belcher, pass the turn, that's a spot where that card works. Thoughtseize is obviously great. In Wasteland's not that important. It doesn't really help cast my spells. 18 lands is okay. And Archon is way less good than Atraxa for a variety of reasons. Can I shave an Archon? Do I actually even want Mystical Dispute? If the game goes medium length and I am spending 3 mana on this, it's totally fine. It pitches to Forces before then. It's my only 1 mana interaction with a Pact. It seems kind of hopeful to make Mystical Dispute a card that I want on the draw, but I am hoping to get to a spot where that matters. So hope is one of the outs in this matchup. Okay, I think I'm just going to bring in the 2 consigns. All right, let's try it. This hand has no interaction of any kind. Mulligan. All right, here we go. Force double Thoughtseize. I'll keep it. I think I bottom Wasteland here, even though I do think it's probably okay, but I have to put a card back. I don't get to keep them all. And this is where my opponent taking mulligans is going to be really important. As a full hand, I actually only have 1 force, because I only have 1 blue card on the draw here. Once I get a turn, I'm cooking. If they have a slow start where they go like land Thoughtseize, it probably takes Brainstorm. I will confess in this moment, on this deck list, I don't know that I own a Bitter Triumph, and that is causing just a non-zero amount of stress in the back of my head as I prepare for this tournament. Last year, before Eternal Weekend, I had to drive 90 minutes round trip to get Curie before I left for Eternal Weekend. Okay, this mull to 5. Oh, what does pitching that Spirit Guide do? Lively Dirge. All right. I'm gonna... Oh, they played around Thoughtseize like a boss. Okay. Force of Negation, pitching Force of Will, leaving Brainstorm in my hand to keep doing stuff. Or keep the Force of Will for their next send. I think I'd rather do that. Okay. Well, they have no cards in hand. 1 mana. So they need to find a win con and 3 more mana, which would take at least 3 draw steps to come up with all those things, I think. Oh my god. Top deck a land, free money? Unfortunate. I am going to Thoughtseize them every single turn, though. Even their lands are spells. I'll take your Narcomoeba. I drew the blue card for Force. My next land puts them in the hand abyss. Like, they can't build up cards in their hand if there's an Archon in play, and they only get 2 turns to do it anyway. Ding. Okay. I think we've done it, team. It will be hard to lose this one. Pass the turn. always stressful, but still don't think I've lost to Oops All Spells on camera or in paper in 4 months. It's does not seem like it's very good if you build your deck appropriately and know how to attack them. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw in round 3. The double Thoughtseize Wasteland holding a Traxa situation. I am going to try this. This isn't great versus fair decks. It's okay versus unfair decks. Oh, I'm glad I have one of my 2 Wastelands. Waste you. Okay, passing the turn. I do need to get something going here. This appears to be blue post. Oh, there's a discard outlet for a Traxa now. All right, what are these cards in your hand? Bind Over Matter. Oh my god. Potent of Calamity. Opponent is in the bag over here. All right, well, I'm taking Tishana's Tidebinder. That's the closest card to me caring about it. A Portent of Calamity. This is a sorcery draw one, but later. All right, yeah, I'm taking Tidebinder. There's the Glimmer Post, gain 1 life. It didn't cast Chalice of the Void. That's good news for me. Now, we're in an interesting decision to Thoughtseize me next turn, or Thoughtseize you now. I'm actually going to pass, and this pass gives me, if they play a creature or planeswalker, I could Bitter Triumph it and just do it all. Stock up, that's pretty good. This also gives me a turn to surveil for potentially one of my other 4 monsters, or another Thoughtseize. Sewer, Reanimate. Do I need another one of those? Interesting. I mean, they didn't give me a target. I might have to Thoughtseize them now. I could Reanimate their Tidebinder just to kill it. That's so stupid. Interesting. All right, I will actually keep this on top. And then the old Thoughtseize myself game plan. They're going to have to force the Animate Dead afterwards. I Thoughtseize me. I don't love that they just stocked up. I'm going to be honest. Animate Dead. Just trying to save some life here. Though if they have the force, I guess this is a more efficient interaction next turn. All right, force pitching, Animate Dead. Okay. Keeping the Reanimate was a hedge around force. They have seen my hand. Thoughtseize reveals the hand. Another stock up. They're going back in. They had to play the Ottawire to get this far. There's the Glimmer Post, up to 22 life. Right, I'm going to ponder. Finding Thoughtseize or Force is good here. Tainted Indulgence is not. I mean, it does let me keep doing stuff. If this fails, I'm going to shuffle. Let's play like it's a combo deck. All right, Reanimate, target Atraxa. We're in there. I found Thoughtseize. I do want to see their hand. Brainstorm, Murktide. I've already got a fetch land. I'll take an Underground Sea. Done. Thoughtseize you. I'm at 5. And how scary is this hand? Cycling Lorien in response. Kozilek's Command, Emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Portent of Calamity. I think Portent is the card I'm worried about here. In Portent and Command are both draw spells. Yeah, Emrakul. There's no card they could draw that is worth enough mana for that. All right, gotta remind myself this one. Reveal the top X cards. X can be 4. You may put, for each card type, you may exile a card of that type from among them. Put the rest into your graveyard. You may cast a spell from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost if you exiled 4 or more cards this way. Put the rest of the exiled cards into your hand. So this is potentially a draw 4. Yes, Portent of Calamity is what I'm worried about here. And I'm going to play Verdant Catacombs because if they want to use Tishana's Tidebinder to stuff a fetch land, and that's how they spend their mana on a turn, deal. There's the island. I'm going to fetch. I don't think they can really Tidebind this. I think they need to use Kozilek's command to do anything. Yep, sewers. Wasteland? Do I want this? I think so. Right, yeah, I'll keep Wasteland. This does counter activated abilities too. Alright, so they can protect from a Wasteland. I'm going to start with an attack. Attack with Atraxa. Lifelink is not a triggered ability. Oh, Tishana's Tidebinder does not interact in any way that I care about here. Brainstorm. We're going to see a command in response. Yep. All right. This is making spawns and drawing cards. Okie dokie. There's one Thoughtseize left in my deck and all of my forces. They went 2 top, 1 bottom. Scary. Reanimate. Is there anything to reanimate? They have a Tishana's Tidebinder. I do have enough to Bitter Triumph and Eldrazi spawn. Reanimate that Atraxa. I go to 4 life and I could still Wasteland. I actually don't hate that. I think I'm in like Find Force of Will or Blessed mode here. I cast with an additional cost of discard a card. Discard Atraxa. Reanimate Atraxa. Go to 4 life. Okay, Force of Will pitching Tishana's Tidebinder. Wasteland, take out this Urza's Tower before they play a Planar Nexus. And pass. Alright, we'll see if I get smoked by using that. Gain 3 life off Glimmer Post. They've got something big. Oh no, that's really good. Shit. Well, fuck me for not finding Force of Will. Alright, I got some digging to do here. Brainstorm. Great, there it was. I mean, the play that I made was a good one. But it probably isn't going to matter. All I can do is play this and hope they can't cast a single colorless spell. All I have to do is cast it, and they have drawn 3 extra cards since then. Gain 3 life, draw a card, 4 cards in hand. Please don't any of them be spells. Don't tap mana. Alright. Well. Yeah, by the top of my deck are 2 lands. Okay, well. That is the power of that. Consigned Memories come in. Do I want to try to beat them fair? Mystical Dispute is actually okay. This is a weird one because some of their blue cards are clutch, and then some of their blue cards will happen much later in the game where they can easily pay 3 mana, but I think I need to respect the middle ground. Thoughtseize, Reanimate. I need to go heavy against this opponent. I don't think I need my basic Swamp. No, I really want to cast spells. I hate mulliganing. I'm not going to do that. I guess Archon is the least important thing here. Maybe a Brazen Borrower doesn't actually fit. I'll just bring in these 3 and try to... Oh, Bitter Triumph can go. That could get me 1 Archon back. It could get me... I don't think 1 Barrowglyph's going to change the game. Brazen Borrower attacks and blocks, deals with Chalice. Archon does make them sack Planeswalkers, which is not nothing. Bowmaster can punish the ring, but I don't think I'm actually going to do that. It normally only matters in multiples and in decks that are applying pressure, and I'm not those things. I think I will take the Brazen Borrower just because it's blue. I'll keep this one. It is disruptive and moves cards around. I hate when you're testing and the deck that you're excited about loses to the deck that you're thinking about. Oh, there's a high roll here of taking the Teachings, then their whole hand doesn't work. I'm going to take that high roll. Yeah, that's the blue source. If they just play like an island in the next 2 turns, I'm going to be bummed out. There's Force of Will. I think I want a Royal here. I hope this is a turn that is safe. Okay. Did everything I'm supposed to do. I have Force, blue card, consign in my hand. I need a Reanimate. Glimmer Post gains 2. And now we're off. Oh my god. Alright, not draw. Reanimate. I can beat a Force. Trax is in. And we've got Roiling Dragonstorm featured here in my incredible enchantment package. Alright, I will keep these, and I guess I didn't need to make a land drop before doing that. Like, what was I even playing around? And now I can't wasteland them? Alright, that's fine. I'm gonna clean up discarding Atraxa for sure, and I guess it's the other Dragonstorm. Talking shit about how that card's on my deck and then didn't even need it. Alright, this is a bunch of mana. Karn is on the stack. I'm gonna consign with Kicker. This plays around Force of Will. without having to use my own force of will. Draw for turn, Murktide, let's go. Attack with Atraxa. I'm going to Wasteland the Cloud Post. If you want 2 mana, it should hurt. And then Murktide. Yeah, bounce the Dragon Storm. Getting paid, just like we drew it up. Do I want to cycle this Reanimate? No, I think my hand is already good, and that would tap me out of Consign. Okay, cool. Dragon Storm trigger. Count it. Right, on the draw. Does anything change? This one Archon is calling to me, like the Green Goblin Mask. Do I want just one of these in? Where would I put it? Got a Tameo on the draw, and that's minus a blue card and minus an engine. Got a Dragonstorm on the draw. I don't think so. All right. This is what I'm doing. I'm also not bringing in Engineered Explosives, even though they are a Chalice of the Void deck. I'm going to hope my 6 Forces and 2 Brazen Borrowers can protect me from that. This is a turn 2 Reanimate. I could just get my land drop, discard Atraxa. But this hand, I don't think does enough, and it doesn't interact. If they have turn 1 Chalice, I am completely cooked. Anything else, like if they have a setup turn, I don't mind casting Ponder and seeing where we go. Alright, I am actually going to keep this hand. I understand the risks, but the loot, the Reanimate, and the Atraxa are all here. They did make a setup turn. This Mystical Dispute's interesting because Stock Up and Thundertrap Trainer are the cards they usually play on turn 2. If they play Chalice here, I'm going to be pretty bummed. They're not representing Tishana's Tidebinder with this. We'll get a Sewer. Force of Will, put that in my hand. Okay. This is great, actually, because now I can discard to hand size, losing the Atraxa, have Force up for a turn, and then reanimate it. Please cast Stock Up, please cast Stock Up, please cast Stock Up. Uh-oh. Alright, if I draw a land here, and I have double protection, alright, that's not the double protection I had in mind. They are representing Kozilek's Command. Do I want to ponder? No, I want to cast Reanimate. This is what I came here to do. Force pitching, force pitching the other Atraxa. We're in. Okay, good news. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize, Brazen Borrower, Brainstorm. Do I want Brazen Borrower or Tameo? I think I want Borrower. And Thoughtseize ya. What's going on over there? Portent of Calamity and a shitload of lands. This crazy blank thing is an Ancient Tomb. Okay, how far are they from Ugin? Ancient Tomb. Isn't Ugin on the stack? I'm interested in a Consign to Memory before that happens. There's the Stock Up. I wanted you to play that last turn. I'm going to force pitching, I think, Tainted Indulgence. I'm done indulging my Taint. Not that I think Mystic Dispute is going to have a lot of action left this game. Ponder. Wasteland. Is that big? I think it's kind of big. All right. I'm going to take the Wasteland. Do I want to take out the blue or the Tomb? I think I'm going to ponder again. I would like a force. Shuffle this. Play Wasteland, attack for 7. I think I want the blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I'm taking out the blue mana and then hoping that cuts off a bunch of their hits. If they hit a 1 ring right now, that just sucks, and we're going to eat shit on it. Planar Nexus. All right, they suddenly have trillions of mana. I knew that was possible, but it's fine. A Brainstorm. Let's see some cards. I have a Force, and I think I can get rid of Reanimate and Underground Sea. And then attack with Atraxa, play Murktide, hope that one of these 2 creatures is still in play through Force next turn. Okay, here we go. 2 lethal threats pass. They have more mana than they could ever need, but I do have 1 Force of Negation to help me get through this. Cool. All right. This is an important match to beat. I do expect it to be kind of popular at Eternal Weekend. It's a deck that I'm considering myself, and I don't think I've lost to it with the Reanimator deck yet, which is really important as I'm planning for a real event. Like, I'm losing to random junk, but I still continue to beat the top of the meta, and I guess I have to be happy with that. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/thereceivables. I am on the play in round 4. I am going to keep this and Thoughtseize my opponent. I could play on basics, but getting basic swamp to cast Thoughtseize doesn't let me Tamiyo Brainstorm next turn, which is what I'm trying to set up here. Okay. Looks like Painter is what we're up against. There are 3 Pyroblasts and a Magus of the Moon in this hand. Yikes. I guess I have to take the Magus of the Moon, but these Pyroblasts are all going to be tough. Mountain? Oh, interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to play Tamiyo. If they counter this on the stack, I can get my Brainstorm going. Okay, there goes Pyroblast. I would like to Brainstorm here. Just trying to get anything going while I can. Oh, this is pretty awkward. All right, I'll put Archon and Reanimate back on top. Yeah, them having so many Red Blasts that they can just willy-nilly go after a Brainstorm also messed up my normal shuffle setup. All right, pass the turn. And their hand doesn't do anything, though, so I got that going for me. And if they're not doing anything, I can spend some time building up sculpting. I might even be able to get to hand size. Like, they didn't even play out the Great Furnace because they see the Wasteland. I don't want to be thinking, like, 3 turns from now I'll discard my card to hand size, but you do have to consider all options when you're in a bad spot like this. An island. I think getting to hand size is better than putting this island into play. My opponent's going to be at hand size this turn, so they got to decide if they're going to play a land into Wasteland or just do something else. Goblin Welder. That resolves. City of Traders. Okay. I will go to my turn. All right, next turn, I can dump the goods. Then the turn after that, I got to be able to do something. I'm not going to waste the City of Traders because they can't play more lands now anyway, or else City of Traders dies. This is like wastelanding all their future lands. If Welder's attacking for 1, I'm pretty happy with my spot. And we are in one of the few matchups where Archon might actually be better than Atraxa, especially because we know their hand is full of Red Blasts. All right, Archon's in the graveyard. They now know what's going on. If they've been sandbagging anything, it's time to play the game. Grindstone. Do I want to point Force of Negation at this? If they have to Pyroblast, that's not the worst. All right, I'm going to Force of Negation pitching Atraxa on this. It doesn't end up in the graveyard. If they tap red to Pyroblast this, I get to Brainstorm, and then suddenly that's a window where something that maybe wasn't going to happen now gets to happen. Right, they pitched a Spirit Guide to Pyroblast again. That's not even the Red Blast I knew about. All right. Okay, so their hand is Great Furnace, Red Elemental Blast, and question mark, question mark. Okay, if Archon triggers here, they will discard a card. Oh, interesting. Well, Thoughtseize you. Let's do that. See what's going on over there. What's the trick? What are we playing towards? Okay, their hand is just all Red Blasts. Reanimate Archon. Welder dies. Ancient Tomb's in the graveyard. Their hand is Pyroblast, Great Furnace. So 1-2, 1-2, 3. I have to Wasteland them because if they top deck Painter, they actually can kill me here. And this is the turn where that matters. Great Furnace is in. I'll get a Sewer. Another Reanimate. Does that do anything? It gets me my Tamiyo, but then they just blast that. All right, yeah, I don't want Reanimate. I want interaction. A Brainstorm. I'm going to attack first because they might discard the Pyroblast to this trigger. And then Brainstorm has a chance of resolving. Discarded Chaos Defiler. Fun. Okay, so they're dead on board. I'm going to play Underground Sea and pass. I'm not going to Brainstorm into this Pyroblast. Because if they do something like top deck Ensnaring Bridge, I want to be able to spin for answers to that. They've grinded me on the way out, just trying to see a couple cards out of my deck. Cool. All right. Weird game, but we did show that there's always an Entomb somewhere. If the game goes slow enough, it's the hand size mechanism. A Hydroblast Fatal Push. Painter's actually really weird and potentially difficult. I could see Engineered Explosives. They are a Saga deck. Force of Will is just really bad against them because of all the red blasts. But also I don't know if I want to meet them in combat. I could see shaving on Thoughtseizes, shaving on Animate Deads. Force of Will's all the way out. Bowmaster can kill Goblin Welder. Consign to Memory can counter Painter on the way down or hit a chapter of Urza Saga. Borrower is board. I think I have to play to the board here. I didn't really map the sideboard to juke off the forces and off the monsters. It's kind of a one or the other thing. Right, Archon, some of the Atraxas. Roiling Dragonstorm could still be a card draw engine. This is crazy. I am deep off the... I am far off of the plan at this point. Actually, Thoughtseize Reanimate might be a plan versus their Chaos Defilers and stuff. Another Archon. I need 2 more cuts if we're going here. I guess Indulgence is worse than Roiling Dragonstorm because of the powerful Murktide Regent synergy. There's 2 Atraxas in the deck still. Yeah, maybe I do cut 1 Thoughtseize and just try to win with Barrogoyfs. I don't know how much graveyard hate they're packing is the problem. And Painter's a deck that can main deck it and can tutor it in a variety of ways. They have Saga, they have Goblin Engineer. They might also just not combo me out here, but I think this deep juke is the way to go. A Bitter Triumph can be a removal spell. I like Tamiyo, I like having lands. I like that my basic lands are accessible. We did see Magus in their main deck. Keep, Mountain, Welder. That's the start you're never happy to see. It's not a Fatal Push. I think I'd like to get Tamiyo into play here. That can draw cards even if they moon me. Mountains crack clues just the same as anything else. Soul Guide Lantern, all right. Played around it for the most part. It's not really what my deck's doing. Oh, they kept a 1-lander on the strength of Soul Guide Lantern. This is exactly why you juke. All right, I'm gonna go to combat first. I could just kill this Goblin Welder. Is it doing anything? Is anyone doing anything? All right, I'm going to pass with the option to crack a clue or cast Bitter Triumph, and I can do it all on basic lands. They drew a mountain all of a sudden. Goblin Engineer. All right, well, respectfully, this Welder's got to die. Pay 3 life to kill Goblin Welder. This is just Entomb Reanimate. They could put anything in the graveyard and then flip Soul Guide Lantern into it. Here you go. I understand why they kept the hand. They have Entomb Reanimate with a 1-mana hate piece. Makes sense. Story checks out. Orcish Bowmaster. Little late. I would have loved to pick off Welder with that. I can flip Tamiyo this turn. This is not a deck that's super concerned about a Tamiyo being flipped because they can answer it pretty cleanly in a variety of ways. I'd really like to find one of those fatal pushes I boarded in, something to deal with this Engineer. Consign to Memory. Reanimate doesn't matter on Painter because whoever has the Painter, everything is still all the same color. Reanimating their Welder, though, means I can weld their Painter out at any time. This puts Consign to Memory in my hand after that, but if Painter's in play, Consign doesn't work. I think I actually do want to flip Tamiyo this turn, and maybe I don't want these cards. I still have a land drop. I can take one of the cards I want. All right, I'll take the Consign, and then I'll flip Tamiyo. Fetch. They're a deck full of red blasts. Like I don't expect Tamiyo to go coast to coast here, but even if it gets back the Bitter Triumph, if I don't die this turn, they would have to come up with 1 mana for Grindstone, 1 mana to Goblin Engineer, and 3 mana to activate Grindstone. 5's a lot of mana, but I mean, Ancient Tomb plus Spirit Guide gets them there, but they also have to have the Grindstone. That's a lot of stuff that has to come together. Well, there's Grindstone. Well, step 1. But we know they missed the land drop last turn, so who actually even knows what's going on anymore? Okay, the Soul Guide Lantern can blow out a Tamiyo activation, but I think I have to reach for the Bitter Triumph. Let's start costing them artifacts one way or another here. All right, I've been lanterned in response to that. Barrogoyf, and pass with Consign up, which, if they do weld Grindstone into Painter in the end step, won't matter at all. They're a mana away from killing me right now. Oh shit, they're doing it. They must have Spirit Guide. Okay. They didn't hold priority. Like, if they have a Spirit Guide and didn't hold priority, then they just messed up really hard. The trick here is activate Grindstone, in response flip Grindstone into Painter. But really what they did was just make Barrogoyf bigger. Undercity Sewer. Traxa, put it in the graveyard. Yes, please. Can I hit one of the reanimates that's still in the deck? Plus Tamiyo, and opponent's going to have to decide if they want to let Barrogoyf connect here. They might need this Goblin Engineer. Yeah, all right. A Brazen Borrower goes a long way. A second Barrogoyf doesn't help much. I think I got to draw a card with my clue and try to find a removal spell. Ponder. A Reanimate works too. Wasteland doesn't hit here. I kind of like that Brainstorm, but it's going to look at two of the same bad cards again. All right, I'll shuffle this. Ooh, all right. Clutch. Clutch. If they have the Spirit Guide, all right, I'm actually going to pass, because if they have the Spirit Guide, yeah, all right. So the play here is kill Painter when it comes in. Grindstone, hold priority. So here they would have to name blue and have Spirit Guide Red Blast and counter the Fatal Push. Okay, Painter's in. Please name a color other than blue. They did name blue. Push the Painter. And they don't have it. Okay. That was a tight one. But once again, navigating a matchup that I didn't even really have a good plan for. On to the final trophy round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final trophy round. Island Ponder Keep, baby. My opponent, MTG fan 1996. My brain is firing on the, this is a like combo sender type wavelength, and I don't know who this person is. I just have these feelings, these residual feelings deep in the dregs of my brain from playing so many matches on Magic Online. And they did multi-5 with a 61 card deck. I'm very interested in a force right now. I'm going to shuffle this Ponder. Okay, I might just die here. Did my format knowledge kick in too late? And I was never going to mulligan a good hand just because I think my opponent might be a Oops All Spells gamer, but here we go. Does appear to be happening. Thoughtseize. Okay. I'll let it resolve, which does tell them what deck I'm on for game 2 if they're just going to kill me here. Like, if they have a full send with Thoughtseize, then I was never winning anyway. But if they took a turn off to Thoughtseize me when I didn't have force anyway, this actually rules. I hope they take a Traxa. But not if they have Reanimate in their hand. Then I hope they don't. Come on, deck interaction. Okay, this is actually tough because I do have the trick. I could fetch a Surveil and put the trigger on the stack, Brainstorm, put Archon in the graveyard, and have Archon next turn. But I think it's more important for me to find a Force or a Thoughtseize this turn. And I'm going to put away Swamp and Misty Rainforest. Then I'm going to ponder. I'm really in the market for a Force of Will. But I found a Force of Will and a Thoughtseize. Let's do it. Okay, Force, pitching Brainstorm this turn, Thoughtseize myself, take a Traxa, reanimate a Traxa next turn. Hope they didn't have a double protection. Okay. Or I get double protected. But do they have the double protection and the send? That's the real question. Doesn't look like it. Okay, now, question number 3. Is it better to Thoughtseize reanimate myself and get an Atraxa trigger, or to Thoughtseize them? There are 5 forces in my deck. There's 3 more Thoughtseizes, lots of lands. All right, Thoughtseize me. Thoughtseize, take a Traxa, reanimate, target a Traxa, trigger, force, Underground Sea, reanimate. That kind of stinks. I should have taken a fetch land there, actually. All right, well, I did know that force was on top of the deck. Okay, a land, they didn't play that last turn, so this is new. The land coming in tapped is huge. Yeah, if I had taken a fetch land, I could have also triggered Archon this turn. Like Brainstorm, fetch, or I just do it anyway. Okay, Brainstorm. Should I attack first? Yeah, I should attack first to make sure my life is robust enough for this trick. This does give up on blue card, but any blue card does it, including that one. Put back Misty Rainforest and Archon. Undercity Sewer, dump Archon. Reanimate Archon. Opponents at 3 life, and more importantly, they lose a card in their hand. Okay, Poxwalker's discarded. Force blue card, dead on board, go. Don't kill me. Manosaur's Payoff Pact still kills me here. Alright, I feel lucky to get away with that one. They kept a slow double Thoughtseize hand, and if they had just sent, I would have been dead. Consigned to Memory comes in. Bitter Triumph comes out. And 1 Archon comes out, probably. I forget what I did earlier already. Do I want to wiggle this Brazen Borrower in? I would cut Wasteland to do it. I think so. More blue cards, never hurt. Here we go. No interaction. I'm going to mulligan. All right, here we go. Hand's very good. It doesn't beat a protected turn 1. It has 2 shots at a turn 2, though. I have the force to get to my turn 1 and then Thoughtseize them. Like, if they spend a turn Thoughtseizing me, then they can only take force or Thoughtseize. They're on a mull to 5. Agadeem. Thoughtseize resolves. They took my Thoughtseize. They want to play against Force of Will rather than let me know what's in their hand. That makes sense. Force of Negation drawn. Okay. That means Thoughtseize can't take me off Force. I have enough forces and blue cards to dance around that. I don't like this. If they're sending anyway, they probably just have it. Undercity Informer. Okay. Force Pitch Brainstorm. How do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm going to Force Pitch Brainstorm. And if I see a blue card on top of my deck, I might just hit them with their own thing here. Sewer, trigger, ponder on top, draw. A little bit of risky business here, but I'm taking it. Reanimate your Informer. Hit you with it. I can counter their Memory's Journey. Right, there's their deck. I'm not going to look at it because it doesn't matter. I guess I'm looking for Memory's Journey. I'm looking for Jack-o'-lantern. I'm looking for any way they can play around this. You wanted your deck in the graveyard? There it is. Now do something with it. Okay, Memory's Journey and Jack-o'-lantern are in the graveyard. Moment of Truth. Do I count the packs? I mean, I'm all in at this point. Pack. All the packs are accounted for. They don't know these 2 cards. They saw the Force of Will and the Brainstorm off their Thoughtseize. They don't know that these are exactly the 2 cards they don't know that I've drawn this game. Memory's Journey, targeting, reanimate. Force of Negation, that, and then you die to your draw step. How'd we do? It's important that this line only works because they're tapped out. If they had the mana up on their turn to Memory's Journey in my end step, then Force of Negation doesn't work. So a lot of things had to go right. I don't generally recommend milling oops with their own cards, but in exactly that spot with exactly these resources showing, and we've already tested them on Pact of Negation with that force, like all of that matters. Cool. Well, trophy alert. It's a good arc. I played a lot of this deck on the channel, trying to dial in the list, a lot of mediocre results, and the one that I said was going to be the last one for the channel is the one that I won all my matches with. That doesn't mean we're done. I've got 3 more days before I have to board an airplane. I will be grinding leagues off camera, do a few more of these. But, I mean, it did feel good. The Roiling Dragonstorm did get put in my hand by Atraxa once. It did return to my hand from a Murktide region once. And otherwise, it was just a draw 2, discard 1, which is what the deck wants. 10 interaction spells, the 6 forces for Thoughtseizes helped me beat the combo matchups I played against. Dumpstering bullshit, that's one of the things that we needed to do, and that mono black deck round 1, that Painter deck in round 4, not that Painter is like bullshit, that's an established deck, but it's not big in the metagame. I don't have a specific plan for it. I'm not playing any null rods or anything like that, but I still got to a spot where I Thoughtseize them, saw their hand, and then just didn't do anything for 5 turns until I was able to go to discard, then beat them with that. It's really important that that aspect of the deck functions, and we did see it kick in here. Pretty happy with this. And I might still just not even play this for Eternal Weekend. At this moment, I don't know, but I'm dialing it on a list I'm quite happy with. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.